Good morning, everybody. Welcome to pre-market update. Happy Thursday. Yesterday was an earnings day, and you had major companies reporting earnings. Facebook, it reported earnings. It's better than expected, and stock is up point, let's say 2% right now overall. And then also we had Tesla reporting bad earnings, but still stock is up because they said they are still profitable. Look, as you can see, big decline in revenue and earnings both. Still, you can see pumping right now, up almost 4%. AVGO had no earnings, so I'm not sure why this one is up. And then we had Microsoft is down 4%, had good earnings, still is down. I think cloud business is not doing good. That's what's down. And then service now is almost down 10% as well after even good earnings. And UPS is crashing 14% down after earnings. They are removing 50% of Amazon delivery business, so that's why stock is tanking. So we'll review all these. Let's review indices and then Bitcoin, and then we'll review commodities as well. Please hit the like button, guys. Only takes 1 second to hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate that. So in terms of futures, S&P 500 right now in the middle. So those who are my subscribers, they know we buy in the green line, we sell in the red line. Right now in the middle, which is no trade zone. So we'll do nothing here. There's also a gap around 61.27, so that will fill at some point. So just keep that in mind. If we pump from here, futures, if they pump to around 0.75% to fill that gap, that's a good area to short here. Nasdaq also same thing here. There's a gap here around 21,891. So again in the middle line, we don't do much here. Just wait for either it to go to green to buy or go to red to sell. And Russell, it's actually, sorry, this is Dow Jones. This is a bit weaker. Mainly probably, I think UPS might be a part of Dow Jones. We have to double check. But again, it's in the green zone, coming closer to buy zone. And then Russell 2000 is also coming closer to neutral zone, so we don't do much. Bitcoin is hanging in the sell zone here, already in the red area where you want to be taking profit, wait for it to drop back. And Ethereum is pumping finally. Ethereum is showing some strength, came to buy zone, and you can see green line to the red line. Nice pump of around 7%. So let's go to now long-term analysis on our US 500, which is S&P 500, and we'll see how it goes. By the way, guys, if you want to know more about these zones, subscribe to my channel. Let me know your user ID. There's a join button in the description of this video. I'll add you to Discord channel where I share these levels every hour with my subscribers, and also I share what stocks I'm buying and selling. It will be very, very helpful for you. Okay, so US 500 here, you can see we are right now in the, let's say so if you're a bull, it could go to 63, 63, 63. So from here until spring 2025, we could expect a pump of 5%. Inversely, if you're a bear, we could go back to green line, which is around 50, let's say right now around 54.95, 5500. So from here, we could go at least 9% down. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we will touch the screen line at some point this year. So keep that in mind. And also RSI is in the middle. We wait for it to go to red to short, or it wait for it to go to green to buy again. So let's go to now daily chart and see how things are shaping up here. Cycle analysis on S&P 500. I was saying yesterday, looking for a rally. So there are two possibilities. From here, we could go test. Oops. Let me double check this. From here we could go lower and then go higher. Okay, that's one possibility. Or we can still go straight, go higher like I had it before. And there is a cycle is saying we are expecting. Let me get rid of this. Cycle is saying we are expecting a decline. We are in a decline phase from here until um, mid of Feb. Okay, so cycle is saying. Uh, we could get this top somewhere and then march a decline here. So just keep that in mind. At high level, there are two gaps here to fill, these yellow lines. So they could go fill this gap, like from where we closed yesterday to filling the top gap is around 0.86%, which is not a big deal. That can happen in a day. And then we can have a decline. So today could be an up day, and then Apple is releasing earnings end of day. So that could be bearish and we could go lower. So just keep that in mind overall how things are shaping up here. And this is live futures. You can see it's kind of 0.2%, not much. So we can see we will try to probably go up and then come back down later. And in terms of NASDAQ, um, at one point it was up almost 0.8%, now kind of cooling down. But again, there is this big gap in futures, And if you look at NDX, massive gap here, okay? So we could still go higher, fill this gap and come back down later. So that's also possible. Dow Jones, no gaps up. All the gaps are way down. So this is a big gap here as well. So let's see when we're going to reach there. We'll reach at some point. IWM also has a massive gap here. So looking for that gap to close as well. Bitcoin. All right, so this is daily chart of Bitcoin. This support line here. We came multiple times in this yellow box and bounced. You can see multiple times coming back. And right now we are finding support on this white line, which is 20 moving average, and then now bouncing. All right. Now we do have divergence. We made a new high with, you can see RSI making lower high. If I draw a line here, you can see RSI making lower high, and this is also, and below is PPO. This is also making lower high. You can see momentum. These are momentum is going lower as price is going higher, and we'll see. Right now, all these moving averages are acting as a support, so we could go high. Inversely, if we come back to this 90,000 zone, that's an area you want to be buying. But if that fails, then you can see, look below, there is a gap at 77K, so that could fill as well. And in terms of gaps, this gap is filled now, so we can delete that. Now there is a gap here around 101K and then 77K. So we'll see if they're going to come back to 101K and bounce, or they want to bring it back all the way down, or it can straight go higher. Things are looking pretty good for Bitcoin here. Ethereum finally showing some strength, but coming right into some resistance here. You can see these moving averages. It will act as a resistance. In terms of ETH, there was a gap here around 33.27, so they're trying to fill that gap. So a little bit more pump. That's where all these moving averages are coming, and then that could be a gap fill here. So that's on crypto. Oil is getting a 9 counts buy signal yesterday. Still today is a bit weaker. And I want to see something else on oil. This is CL future, same thing here. This future is telling me it's 9 counts buy signal here. So it's just a matter of exchange, which I'm using. But anyhow, finding some support on this red line, which is 10 moving average. This is an area which should act as a support. Like if you draw a box here, you can see this should act as a support. So I am thinking it's just holding. It should hold here and then bounce because it spent so much time here in this triangle. Yeah, like if you want to draw a trend line on like a triangle on oil, it was like a breakout like this. Okay, it spent so much time here, and then the usually the breakout distance is the white part of the wedge, and then we got a breakout, and that's where we ended. Okay, so that's what happened. Now it could come for a back test, and this is a support, and also there's a gap here around 79.81, 79.83. If you go to 1 hour chart, big gap here. So at some point they will fill it, and then you can see there's a downtrend, 1 hour chart, or even if I go to 2 hour chart, you can see a downtrend here, and it's facing some resistance on this red and yellow line. So, and building some nice momentum. You can see RSI going higher. Other than Bitcoin, this is doing other way around. You can see RSI started showing some momentum, PPO showing some momentum, but we don't have a breakout. We need to break above these red and yellow lines. So we'll see when that happens, coming to some support area. And CNQ had some recovery yesterday. This yellow gap here around 31.27, then all these yellow lines on top. So I'm expecting seasonality wise, it's pretty strong February and March for oil miners. So I'm expecting like a pump, pull back, and then keep going higher. All right. So I'm looking for this gap at minimum 35.52 to fill. We'll see when we reach there. Let's keep moving to Toronto Stock Exchange. Uh, Holding very nicely above all moving averages, just going straight up. There's a gap around 25.67, probably trying to fill. Hang Seng Index also after 9 count sell signal still going higher. So you can see uh, there's a gap here, 21.319. They might be trying to fill that gap and then come back down later. We'll see right now in the middle where it's going to go. Bond market looking good, but again in front of this massive red and yellow lines, 50 EMA, 50 SMA. TLT same thing. So we'll see if it breaks out, and then that will be our next buy signal. Natural gas had a 7 counts buy signal yesterday, but could still come back to filling this gap. Just keep that in mind. This could fail. Seasonality wise, it's very weak February and March, so we'll see if it's going to go there. Gold, wow, 2% pump, new highs for gold. Wow, not sure what happened. That's a massive move actually on gold. Unbelievable. Um, Anyhow, but you can see new highs on little divergence on RSI. PPO had a nice divergence, but again, with a big gap up, not sure what happened, but maybe some economic news over the overnight. Silver also trying to make a new high now. Going higher, looks things looking really good for gold here. So it's buy the dip on gold. Copper should also follow gold in front of this blue line 200 SMA. Some resistance. Sugar came to this buy zone, and you can see just keep pumping since I told you this is a good time to buy. V-shaped recovery, just consolidating, maybe make an inverse head and shoulder, and then it will break out. Wheat in front of some 200 EMA SMA. Wait for it to break out there. Corn also by the dip, very strong. Finally, it's pumping, and then dollar a little weaker, but in front of some support, nice support. So any dips will be bought in this area. We had a 9 count SPY signal a couple of days ago. Now I'm trying to bounce from here. In terms of earnings, Apple is reporting earnings. You can see here multiple gaps possible to the top side. Also, there are a few gaps to the bottom side. I don't know which way it's going to go in front of this massive resistance red line. So probably it's going to just hold here before earnings, and then earnings will decide if it breaks out or breaks down. Meta new highs, pumping very significant uh, numbers here, but guidance is not that great, so that's why it's holding. So we'll see. Maybe they will try to fill this earnings gap at market open. Um, Other than that, Microsoft is a pretty good buy actually, down 4.5% in terms of all FANG stocks. Could come back to fill this gap around 415. You can see here earnings gap down and then kept selling. So I'm expecting that gap down kept selling and then fill this gap. That will be a good area to buy Microsoft shares as a long-term holder. Pretty good, solid company. Service now down 10% in multiple gaps. You can see every earnings gaps up before and now it's gapping down. So there's a lot of significant risk. Most of these gaps, I will say 90% can be filled. NVDA still weak, hanging on this 200 EMA SMA. If it breaks here, just remember there's a gap around 85. It could come all the way down to fill that gap. Inversely, if you're a bull, you are looking for this gap. It could still go high, fill this gap, and then come back down, or it can break down from here. Tesla also 4% higher, had some support, had bad earnings, unbelievable. You can see such a bad earnings still going higher. This is just market maker just playing games. AVGO also trying to fill this top gap. And then UPS is, you can see, new lows of the year, and it's here, opening right here. So very bad on UPS. And CRM Salesforce is also, you can see, trying cooling down, coming back to this support red line, and then trying to bounce from there. We'll see how it goes. And then lastly, VIX down 3%. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe it wants to fill bottom gaps. That means the SPIX is going higher. But if it pumps, then remember this top gap will fill at some point. Okay, guys, that's it for today. If you have any particular stocks you want me to review, put a comment with the stock name, and I'll review tomorrow. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.